All right, all right, all right. How's everybody doing?
Woo!
All right. Welcome to Mastering the Marketplace, seminar by TCG Player, with the lovely assistance from these panelists here. Very excited, very honored and privileged to be up here with these guys. Very, very stoked. We only have 45 minutes, so I want to jump in and let them talk as much as possible. We will have about 10 minutes for Q&A at the end. But like I said, I want to jump in. Quick intros. My name is Sam Clement. I've been here at TCG Player for about 3.5 years. And primarily, I work with sellers through our growth acceleration program to help them grow.
Hey y'all, Mason here. I own Cardinal Gaming, 2 stores here locally in town, which is nice. My main store is actually just 20 minutes down the road here, so real close for me. I appreciate y'all coming out. Welcome to Louisville, so thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part. Been selling on TCG Player for probably 5 years. Had a brick and mortar for 9 now, so got a lot of experience with that. A lot of stuff with Roka, and then I make a little YouTube channel. I have a little channel. Maybe some of y'all have heard me, but talk about selling practices and stuff like that on my YouTube channel. So do a lot of that and talk about things with TCG Player a lot. So we talk a lot about things back and forth. So that's why I'm here, I guess, basically.
And hi, my name is Barry Hatfield. I'm the owner of Gamelandia in Palo Alto. I'm also a TCG Player seller. We're a little newer to the platform and to the store world in general. We're about and best hobby shop of the year. Thank you, thank you. But there are a lot of great hobby shops that all are fantastic, and many of you are in this room right now. And many of you talked to me probably a year or two ago when I was around here at GAMA. We're almost 3 years old. Been selling on TCG Player for a little bit under that time period, but we're really happy to be here. Yeah.
Awesome. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nicholas Coss. I own Top Deck Games outside Philadelphia in southern New Jersey, and I sell online and run large-scale events under the Card Titan brand. And I've presented in GAMA before and certainly talked about this before. It's good to be back.
Thank you all for being here. I'm going to jump into questions. So like I said, we can get so many sound bites from you right away. So what are 3 things, and Nick, let's start with you and we'll go down the line. What are 3 key things that make your store successful that can be shared with other sellers?
So I think the priority that we really focus on, and that a lot of you focus on in your brick and mortar store, is customer service. You can absolutely extend the customer service to your online selling platforms in how you respond to customers when they have an issue. On TCG Player specifically, I checked before the panel to make sure, but we have over 650,000 feedback, and we have 1 negative and 7 neutral. and he said things that are replicable. They are. We are aggressive about solving problems when they occur. We have had people leave us far more negative and neutral than currently exists, but then we solve their problem. It will be a great help to you to set some systems in place up front so that when problems occur that you know they will, like missing cards, missing mail, wrong card, you can handle those problems without spending a lot of labor every time. That was 1 thing, but I felt like it was 3 things worth of time, so I'm just going to kind of hand that off.
That's a lot. That's math. Yeah. Give us 1 to 3.
All right, so I think one thing that was important for us was, and there's like 2 little things that are related with this, is don't be afraid to try something new. Listen to your customers, listen to your patrons, listen to your market. Don't worry as much about what the other stores are doing, but worry about what they're not doing. And then the second side of that would be move incrementally, dip a toe in. We did that with TCG Player. We did the growth acceleration program. We stepped in very slow into selling on TCG Player because we wanted to understand it, integrate it into our operations, and not bite off more than we could chew. So that would be mine.
Yeah, a lot of that with you, Barry, but also really using and leaning into technology, the tools and assets that TCG Player provides as well, building that into our systems and having that be part of our best practices, using the Roka machines that we have, using Quicklist and integrating that into our buying procedures. All that stuff is pretty unique, and I think it just really streamlines the system. So we lean into technology. We're really leaning into TCG Player. If something's really working, you should really just kind of like maximize that and try to do that to the best of the ability. So that's something that we've really focused on. And then yeah, focusing down on what's really profitable and spending the most time on stuff that's going to make you the most money possible, rather than trying to spread yourself super thin versus something that works. If it works, keep doing it. That's the idea. So that's what we try to do.
And Mason, you mentioned using the tools and Quicklist, and you've talked to me about a unique way that you use Quicklist. Do you want to share that with the room?
Absolutely. Yeah. I probably use Quicklist the most aggressively out of any store I can think of, because every time I bring it up to anybody I talk to, they're like, wow, we don't do that. That's crazy. I use Quicklist on the front end on the floor of my guys scanning cards in. You're going to have to look them up anyways. You have to price them out anyways. So why do that multiple times? With Quicklist, you can upload it to the list system on TCG Player, and then upload it immediately once they say, yes, good, pay me that, and then we're good to go. So yeah, streamlining that kind of process with Quicklist. You don't have to click, scroll through the things. You just scan the card, make sure it's right, and condition it correctly. That's all part of the process as well. But after you do that, it's good to go at that point. You don't have to go back, oh, I bought all these cards. All right, I have to look them all up again. Why? You're going to have to price them out in the first place. So that's what we do with Quicklist. And it's really streamlined the buying process, saves us a ton of time. Our guys immediately can turn around and put those cards right in the system. They go through the list function on TCG Player, which is also one of the most least utilized things on the platform, is using lists and uploading the lists. And then it goes to staged, goes to live, it's good to go. That's all they have to do. It's very quick and streamlined and easy to do. So that's the good part about Quicklist, that people are probably, most people in this room are sleeping on it. Anybody do that? Anybody else do that? Oh, look at all these bright people. Look at them. Very, very good. But yeah, you said.
Quicklist is so slow though.
What I found is that it's about the same speed if you have to type it in. So it's about the same, and then you don't have to worry about page loading. You don't have to add quantity in that, and then you're not doubling back again, looking the card up again for a second time. So it's more streamlined for us. Of course, your mileage may vary, but it works for us. So that's what we do with Quicklist.
Awesome. Nick, how do sellers make money on a card that's 10 cents?
They don't. Oh. So one of the things that I got asked a lot before and just now, oh, but I see other people selling this for a penny, 5 cents, 10 cents. As a function of labor, selling singles in-store online is a very labor-intensive process. That's your biggest cost associated with this. At $15 an hour, which New Jersey has a minimum wage higher than that, so all of my labor is over $15 an hour. 1 minute of labor is 25 cents. So if you're spending 25 cents to pick up a dime, to sell a card for a dime, I think you're doing it wrong. And I think that there's a lot of other people that are doing it wrong because they may not value their time at something. And I get a lot of owners that have come to me and say, well, I don't have to pay somebody, I'm doing it. Yeah, but it's a job. You have to, any business can survive on the charity of its owner not being paid for their work. Make sure that you have a solid baseline of what you sell things for that allows you to be profitable on the things you sell. It makes no sense if you're spending a quarter every time you sell something for a dime and you're like, make it up in volume. That does not work that way. The math is bad. The minimum that I sell things for is either 24 or 25 cents, and I am thinking about raising that because why not? I don't think 50 cents is a barrier to entry for people. I don't think, there's no reason to be selling things for 5 cents, 10 cents, despite some other people may do it. And I'm sure there's some very obscure corner cases where it makes sense for that person, but that is not what you should base what you're doing on. And if you develop your business and your platform and your reputation and your brand, nobody will be upset paying more.
Yeah, I mean, we do 25-cent minimum, but with $4.99 shipping. We like to send stuff out tracked. My minimum wage is almost 19. I don't want to deal with customer service issues, and
Totally.
and people are willing to pay $4.99 to have a 26-cent card sent to them in the middle of somewhere where they don't have a store or whatever. And
Happens every day.
yeah.
Yeah, same thing. I think our minimum is a quarter, and then we have like a threshold in our own CSVs that we do. It's complicated. We'll get there maybe. We'll see. But if we have somebody that goes to 15 cents and then somebody just buys them all out, and then probably you, Nick, you probably buy them all out from me. But anyways, that's like a little thing that we do to threshold. And if people really stop thinking of the shipping costs as like, oh, that's all the profit. If I don't spend all, it's profit. Think of shipping costs as like a valve or like a release valve. So like if you have a bunch of stuff you want to, like for like Black Friday weekend or some weekend that you want to really sell a bunch of stuff, if you're at $4.50 or $4.99, kick it down to $1.99, see what happens, and then you'll see all that sell through. Or you have a bunch of stuff, you're like, I want to sell through a bunch of stuff. Yeah, use shipping as that. It's not a vehicle of making profit on top of the things you're already selling. Put that into your price for the card, and you don't have to worry about it. So.
Which it used to be on eBay back in the old days.
Wow. All right, Mr. Hobby Shop of the Year, I got a question for you. So what was the decision that cost the least amount of time and money that gave you the most value?
I would, this isn't this isn't really selling cards online adjacent. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's okay.
So what we did when we were figuring out our concept and our space, we decided that we had to have monetized table use to have a sustainable business model in our market, in the economy of our market. And then it was a question of, all right, well, how do you deal with access control and stuff like that? And how do you also incorporate a code of conduct and things like that that make a quality in-store play experience worth paying something for? And we're talking like a nominal fee, right? And it was someone that actually, one of our customers and an early person we were talking to who was pretty involved with the local magic scene suggested name tags. And so we went with colored, hello, my name is, name tags like you wear at a work conference or something, or speed dating or whatever. Yeah. And our different events have a different color of the day. And we can track who's paid, who's supposed to be in our play spaces, and access to our game rooms, our really nice bathrooms, and our free tea and hot chocolate are all behind a point of entry at the cash wrap where you have to have a name tag on. And people love it, and it costs nothing to get name tags. And it set a tone for our whole environment and the whole culture of the store and the culture of the way people treat each other there and everything. And we would never change it.
I love that. That's fantastic. Nick, how do you make money off of in-store organized play?
Ooh. So we recently, and by recently, a few years ago, moved to a larger location with more square footage devoted to organized play. Our event center seats 120 of me, surrounded by 119 of me, comfortably, with elbow room. And it's monetized. You know, we have a day pass system. We also have a monthly membership system. And we have events that require an entry fee. The same way that you mentioned, you know, it has to make sense financially to devote the space and employees and time to a big chunk of your business. It's okay to make money. You know, none of us have billions of dollars. None of us can just afford, you know, charity to everybody and everything. And what's really important is to build a quality product and build a quality experience, and then understand that that has value and be comfortable with that. If you give something away, people aren't going to respect it. People aren't going to treat it well. But if you charge for it and you establish that it has value, and you should all hopefully believe in yourselves that everything you're doing is really has value to a customer or a player or someone learning a game or playing in an event, and you charge for it, it's great. None of our events are break even. None of our events are loss leaders. We all make money with our events. In my opinion, a reasonable amount of money. It does more than keep the lights on. It pays for everything that we do there and provides the business income. I don't want to say like unabashedly, but like I like to eat steak. I don't want to eat ramen. It's set a business up that you can meet your definition of success while also meeting or exceeding all your customers' expectations is the winning formula.
Mason, how do you balance in-store and online communities? How do you balance those two channels?
Yeah, I mean, it can be hard, right? Because I have people from my YouTube channel that I buy from me and sell to me and all that type of stuff. So it can be, yeah, very difficult. You really have to make a choice about, you know, do you want local people to get a discount over the people that you have online? Like TCG Player, you can have the kiosk system where you have prices lower in store if you want to. Yeah, it can be very difficult to do that, and it does take some tweaking and adjusting to figure out, you know, what's best for your business, right? And you really have to build yourself to say, hey, maybe these next couple Magic sets are going to be terrible. These next ones are probably going to be okay, but I think we're going to be good for Magic. But say they do, you know, they don't do great. You do have to figure out a way to at least quickly pivot. Hey, I need to move things online. I got to get things out of here. You know, keep the money moving. So. It's difficult. You got to look at it and really have a good pulse on the market and what things are moving where and selling where. You know, sometimes, like with Pokemon right now, I'm not super aggressive selling things online. I don't need to be, right? Because we all have people coming in every day looking for Pokemon. In 6 months, that may change, right? And we go back to selling, all right, get it out of here. Keep moving on TG Player or wherever else we sell stuff on. So it's really just, it's part of what works best for you, what kind of in-store experience do you want to have, or how much of a premium do you want to make off of people coming in-store versus online, and then what are market conditions like where you know, are you making enough money locally to not have to worry about the fees, or hey, these fees are just going to be a part of business at this point, and you have to make that decision yourself. And sometimes it varies, you know, week to week, month to month, year to year, it's going to change. So it's something that we always play with, for sure.
Can I add
Yeah, please. please.
So we thought about that a lot when we were opening, and we decided to focus heavily on the in-store experience. Because where we opened and why we opened was because we didn't have any competitors that were doing what we wanted to do in our area. Which is what? You're competing with everybody online. Yeah. And so what we decided to do was let the needs of our in-store players drive our expansion of our channel on TCG Player. And as a new store that opened during a really, like we opened in 2022, where, you know, it sounds like another time now, but Pokemon, everyone knows, was like there was no market for it, really. I mean, it was very hard to move any sealed products, so we focused on pack sales. You could get Amazon deals on Magic at distro costs or less with returns. So we focused not on selling sealed product, but running limited events. So we're a limited store. We draft every Friday. We do limited RCQs. Everyone else was in our area was like running Commander on Friday, and we made it a thing to come here and draft. We have a great Commander night too that we charge for, but it really allowed us to build allocation, move through product, and then what was great about TCG Player was we could basically like sell through on stuff that we had bought either to build allocation or trying a new line because we're new and we're trying stuff out, and we could let it go out the back, and it didn't affect our in-store pricing where we try to, you know, go for Keystone as much as possible and go for higher prices to support the costs of our overhead. And it allowed us to just kind of, you know, at least if we could get made whole on it, then that's money we've got for other things that are coming up. And that was a great way to like dip a toe into TCG Player. It's like Commander decks, stuff like that.
Just to add on to that, I agree that one of the best things about selling online as a secondary or tertiary reason to sell online is really helping you manage inventory creep. I'm sure everybody here goes, oh yeah, I have that. But you know, just the ability to go, all right, I have this many boxes of this I don't need, or it's represents 180 days of sales in the store. And so you can sell a case of it on TCG Player and put money back into your account and turn it back into product that will generate more turns and really optimize your in-store inventory and using it as an outlet, just like you described, to really manage your inventory, even if it's not in and of itself a profitable thing to sell the one thing that you're overstocked on, just reclaiming the money because it's the internet. Somebody will buy it,
In the storage space.
which we pay for.
Yeah.
It all has a cost.
Yeah, and speaking of online sales, Nick, you and I talked a little bit about this before this session, but shipping tips and tricks. What have you got? We'll start with you and we'll go down the line.
So I'm going to touch on a few ways that we handle shipping, because we handle it a little bit differently from both of you, because the vast majority of our sales are free shipping. So a big part of our process is minimizing that cost. And I'm very jealous that they charge real dollars for shipping, because I look at what that would be for me and I go, free shipping for now. So until you hit the required, for TCG Player, it requires you to ship with tracking at $50 or above. It recommends it above 20. We found, looking at our own data, as I smack the other microphone, we ship everything under $50 plain white envelope, because we're able to bear the burden of a lost item or a mess up or something like that, because we're operating at a scale. Plain white envelope for us is a windowed envelope, because you don't have to address it. Your invoice, that everybody should include, because we're professionals here. We're not just a player selling a Magic card they drafted last Friday. If you use a windowed envelope and you use an invoice and you are shipping without the non-machinable surcharge, so one stamp, if your post office gives pushback, sometimes postal clerks interpret the rules differently. There are plenty of ways to mail Magic cards, Pokemon cards in plain white envelopes without a non-machinable surcharge. And if you have a tough time doing that, I can speak with anybody who has a tough time afterwards for details, but you can set a meeting with your postmaster. You can go through see how this qualifies, A plus B plus C plus D equals stamp, right? And then the postmaster for your town's post office will go to the staff and go, yes, they can ship it, don't reject it. Huge savings there. If you have an order that has too many cards to ship in one plain white envelope, and a lot of people upgrade it to package or tracking or anything like that, no, we just split it. We ship it in 2 plain white envelopes, which is still under $1 in postage, where tracking and stuff is $2, $3, depending on where you're shipping it. Again, with an invoice, they know what's there, they know what's not there. Those are some big ones, but all off the top of my head, right? Yeah. But no, we'll kick it over to the next person.
Oh, I was going to ask you a question, Nick, since you're the guy. Do you use the?
Oh, yes, please. No, you're good, you're good. Thank you. Oh, perfect. Yeah.
So Nick, do you use the 3-pocket envelope inserts that eBay and TCG Player create? Do you use them?
So no, not currently. Right now we have you're either using a thick top loader, depending on the number of cards, or a shipping shield, which we have branded for our business. And one of the rules with plain white envelopes being non-machinable is that it has to fold in half. Well, a regular envelope, you just tape the cards off to the left or the right. It now folds in half. So if you don't tape it in the middle, you can go look. It's in half. And so the 3-card pocket, because it doesn't, because it has a card in the, if you're filling it all 3 pockets, it'll have something in the middle. So we do something so we can put it off to the side so it can still fold in half, which is our postmaster's hill he's willing to die on. So again, your mileage may vary. You all have different post offices and different people that have to stamp of approval that, but that's what works for us.
Yeah, the big hint of 2 envelopes rather than tracked. Yeah, that's it's what you save $2, right, by doing that.
Right, 46 cents postage per envelope.
And even if you do non-machinable with the 3 pocket envelope inserts, you're still saving money. You're still saving $2. So.
To that point with the windowed envelopes, the packing slips now that you can print out formatted for that are pretty rad. And if you're not using those, take a look at it. With doing our flat $4.99 shipping, we do a little, just padded envelope and a piece of cut cardboard, and the card or cards go in penny sleeves and then in a top loader and then in a team bag, and we use washi tape to tape it to the cardboard and make it look nice. And it's sort of like, well, how would I want to receive this card? Because ultimately at the end of the day, you're not taking a risk on anything except negative feedback. And for us being a small store, we really quickly got scared off of the plain white envelope thing because we're trying to build feedback. It's like, what's going to get it there with tracking? And, we went that direction. But
Nick, do you worry about negative feedback on TCG Player?
No. So sometimes they're unreasonable people.
I don't worry about it either, because if it's automatically 5 stars unless it's not, right? So a lot of people do get hung up on negative feedback on TCG Player. Obviously, it's a valid complaint. I'll take care of it, right? But it's going to be okay. If you have the throughput, it's not going to hurt you too bad. I promise.
All right, this is one that I want to hear from all 3 of you on, and it's perspectives on product acquisition. Go. Barry, let's start with you.
all right, so we started our product we started off, and we're still this way. We don't have any singles in a case. We didn't want to deal with the theft risk. We didn't want to have a safe with a bunch of cash in it. We also don't accept cash at the store. We have signs on the front door that mention that. It's a theft deterrent and a robbery deterrent. We, of course, keep, $20 of change in the drawer for little kids that come in with, lunch money and they want to buy a pack of whatever, and we can take care of it. But as a general rule, we don't accept cash. Again, with the $19, $20, rate that we pay people, I don't want to deal with drawers at the end of the night, and anyone can hop on the point of sale and take over. We don't have to do bank drops, all that sort of stuff. So we're also in the Bay Area. It's not a huge, radical thing to go cashless. But anyway, so we're not buying cards, right? So we're a limited store. So we had a lot of limited players that would say, hey, we did the pre-release. Can I sell you the cool card that we got that I'm not going to use? And that was how it started. Was our players were like, what would you give me for this? And then we figured out a ratio to do, store credit, because we don't do cash, and we just kind of do everything at lightly played, because I'm an old vinyl person, and if it's been opened, it's not mint. So we do lightly played, we buy lightly played, we sell it lightly played, and people love it. And the kids can come and play in an event, some 14-year-old, and level trade in, and then get a box, and then get something else, and it's great. And yeah, that and just wholesale product with new stuff that comes out, we'll open some of it, and that's pretty much how we do it.
Awesome. So we do things a little bit differently. Singles are a large part of our business. We have a large quantity of singles from a bunch of different games displayed in the store. We also have, since we have all of our inventory on site that we sell online, we have a couple kiosks available, employees available to help people. We also buy everything that walks through the door. The only time we would not buy something that walks through the door is if the check wouldn't clear. And then you can always work out a payment plan with someone. You can always work out a creative solution with someone or buy it pieces at a time. But again, you have the internet and TCG Player. So I know that I can turn the faucet on and sell it. I really do believe your opportunity is, everybody can sell it all day, every day. If you list something on TCG Player, on eBay, on Amazon, anywhere, any e-commerce platform, you touch the whole world. You're going to sell the card you list if your price is reasonable. Your opportunity is placing the order and buying the card. So you really never want to turn that down. Really you're just managing cash flow and you can turn it around quickly, sell it online quickly. To mitigate, in store to mitigate the theft risk or smash and grab risk or robbery risk. Any purchases that we make above $200 we make by check. So we do have regular drawers and registers and everything, but we used to start the day with $1,000 in our drawers because we would purchase out of the register as a payout. But now we minimize that because with larger purchases, we're just paying by check every time. So you can certainly set your own policies that match your business and the cards that are walking through your door and the opportunities that your store has. I suggest being loud about the fact that you buy cards and just have it be part of your marketing, have it be part of your social media outreach. I don't like tons and tons of signage in stores. I think it clutters things up, but just making people aware that you buy cards. Even if it's as simple as, we're looking for these 5 cards this week and paying outrageous prices and just great prices for everything else. Whatever you feel will touch your customer base well and get their attention. But no, I really do believe in setting yourself up to buy everything that walks through the door. And there's several stores that go, I'm worried about turning it around. Well, here's the secret. Say someone walks in with a revised Underground C, just a random kind of high value card, and certainly sells for hundreds, if not $1,000 if it's perfect. And you're like, I just put $500 into this card. What if it doesn't sell? There are a lot of people in the world that you can sell it to that are other businesses in the industry that will pay you $600. So it's really a no-risk situation. If you're buying something, you have an outlet for it. So I'd never turn off the acquisition waterfall. Again, like I said, unless the check will not clear. Manage your cash flow. Don't be crazy. But there are plenty of ways, selling it online, also business to business, that you can turn stuff around really quickly.
The check thing is great. I mean, as we scale up, that's a direction we would go in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like Nick was saying, advertising that you're buying is almost more important than advertising you're selling things. People know that you're selling stuff. The new Magic set, nobody needs to know that you're going to sell it, right? They need to know and be reminded that you're buying. So the amount of boosted posts that I have for some stuff selling versus buying, it's probably, I boost way more buying posts than I do selling because I need stuff, right? So that's a huge part of it, is advertising that you're buying, putting it all out there, spending the money, which seems like it's counterintuitive, but I promise, you'll get it back, right? And then, like Nick says, hey, I need these 10 cards. They're gonna bring the other cards too. But advertise that you're gonna be paying, for $50 plus for paying 70% or whatever it is, your mileage, whatever you do. Advertise it, make sure people know, hey, we need cards, bring them to us, that kind of thing. And post that you had a big buy come in, post about it. So people say, hey, I have that card, dang, okay, yeah, I'll bring it in, cool. People seeing that other people sell to you will give them confidence to bring you stuff as well. So there's that. Be aggressive with their buy percentages, stuff like that. Like for us, the amount of people that do a flat buy percentage, we just pay 50%. Why? You could be paying 20% on low value stuff and then 70% on expensive stuff. Scale it based on how much money you're gonna make off those cards. That's what you should be doing. And for us, it gets us a lot more, we get a lot more mileage paying expensive, for expensive cards, because all those people have, again, all the cheaper cards, right? We're gonna get all that stuff anyways. So pay up on the good stuff, you're gonna get the other kind of middle of the road stuff. You're gonna throw it on TG Player anyway, so it's gonna go. So you're gonna make your money. But yeah, and then people always ask me all the time, how do I get bulk? How do I acquire bulk? You guys have card shows near you? You probably have at card shows all the whatnot streamers and people like that have a booth, pop-up tables. I guarantee you they have no outlet for their bulk. They don't want to deal with it. Buy from the whatnot streamers and all those guys at the card shows. Get all their information. Say, hey, bring me your bulk. You don't want to deal with it? Bring it to me. So why does the back of my store always have bulk in the back of it? Is because I buy tens of thousands of cards every month from people that know that I want it. So yeah, go to your card shows, acquire that way. Again, cheap stuff, $1 or $2 singles. Again, maybe they don't want to deal with it. I will. I'll sell on direct. I'll make a little bit. Make friends with people that are also trying to sell and buy in the space. Trust me, it's worth it.
Yeah, and we took so everything that we do is very much, in-store player hospitality focused, because that's our unique value proposition, or at least a big part of it. And what we did was we looked at how we could fold the TCG player side of that into it. So obviously with like packing stuff nice and shipping it nice is one thing. But we also kind of got the word out to our players that, hey, we're going to be buying during this event, or, and that sort of became a thing they were really excited about. And then we got one of those little, the little 3-row card castle robots that we use. Basically, if someone brings in during an event, they bring in a stack of cards, or 150 cards or whatever. We'll just throw it in there while they're playing, and then we can come in and bring them a little printout and be like, "This is what we would offer you." And then because we don't take, we're set up for wireless payment, we can build the order with their loyalty account and ring them out at their seat, or give them if they want to buy anything, or give them their rewards at their seat, like you were buying a drink on an airplane. And people love it. It's really cool. And then for small stuff, we just use the phone Quicklist or whatever it is, and it's just real quick look at it, and then make the buy, and then right there hit the push into the staged. Yeah, and then it's ready to go, and we don't have to do all the data entry again.
I'd like to add a couple things that I thought of as they talked about different topics. You mentioned a different buy percentage based on the value of the card. Make sure you also consider the sales velocity. And just because a card is more expensive, there's a lot of random cards from Legends or the darker antiquities, or older sets that do not sell fast. You do not want to or need to pay a premium for those cards, where you would be happy to pay 70% for the hot constructed staple that will sell tomorrow. And the velocity plays a huge role in that, as well as the value of it.
Yeah, you probably get a lot more of that, Nick, than I do. So, but yeah, for sure. Look at the sales velocity.
So that was one thing. The second thing, just as a quick show of hands, when Prismatic Evolutions came out, how many of you sold Prismatic Evolutions for more than MSRP?
Absolutely.
Also, show of hands, how many had customers complain about that? Okay.
But we did a hybrid.
So did we, but I was never going to sell something like that for MSRP. We're talking about acquisition for a moment. I sold Prismatic Evolutions ETBs for $99.99 in my store for the first one. Subsequent ones were more. But we offered to buy them for $75. And so all of a sudden, all these people that were like, "Oh, you got to sell it to me for $50 for what it should be," but we're paying $75 for them, and they go, "Oh, well, yeah," because it's just a thought that you can use a buy price, whether you expect to buy any or not, to take the wind out of the sails of, in my mind, a slightly irrational approach to something that has a higher than MSRP market price.
How many did you actually buy?
We bought a few. We probably bought 50 or 60 from people who shopped at mass market stores and bought them all. But
Yeah, that's great. So the Growth Acceleration Program is a free program that we offer. It connects sellers, connects you to a customer success manager like myself, and we help you grow your business. So Barry and Mason, you've both been through the Growth Acceleration Program. Can you just briefly talk about your experience?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go first. Who's been in Gap before? Anybody? A lot of you.
Awesome.
Who wants to be in Gap? Everybody that sells on direct, I think, should be required to go through Gap. I think it's that important of a program. The amount of information, all these Facebook posts on all the Facebook groups, all these questions in the Discord. If you just had a Gap rep, you'd have all those answers. Like, so for free, you can ask any question about TCG Player you want to a live person whenever you want to that is going to try to help you as much as they can, because that's their job. Sam wants us all to be very successful. It's kind of like important for him to keep his job so that we all get better and then sell more, right? So it's kind of important, but I think it's that good of a program that it's unparalleled access to a human being that if they don't know the answer, they're going to find it. Any question I've always asked Sam, he either had it or he said, I'm going to find out. And that's worth money, but don't do it, TCG Player. Keep doing it for free. Because, yeah, it's that important of a thing. So I think it's an awesome program. I think anybody that has any questions at all, wants to grow their business, wants to grow as a seller and TCG Player, Gap is literally built to make you better. So that when you, instead of having to come to these seminars, you can just ask somebody that, like, all these questions. But I'll answer them too, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it was very intimidating for us because I'd been an old Magic player back in the 90s and, you know, looking up stuff in Inquest and Scry and everything, and then hadn't played for a long time until we were pretty much thinking about opening, and it seemed very intimidating to consider TCG Player. It sort of felt like if we weren't going to be able to operate at the level that my two colleagues up here were operating at, it was sort of like we were just don't even try kind of situation. It's not a body of water we need to swim in. And we decided that if we were going to do it, because we realized, well, we have to do it, let's do it the best way we can. And so that was finding out about Gap, which I think I learned about here at GAMA, and then getting involved in that program. And it was through that, working with D'Angelo back there, who basically, round of applause, where we were sort of able to distill out the big scary of like entering this marketplace and realize what would work for our store and how we could do it and do it in a way that was professional, which obviously the better sellers TCG Player has, they're happy and it makes things easier on their end. And it's sort of a rising tide floats all the boats kind of thing. And we were able to see like, oh, this would really work for us. And it was, it's a great program. Yeah, I would definitely encourage anyone thinking about going bigger into TCG Player, or maybe you're a miniature store and you're not really, you're kind of like, oh, Magic, we got to do it. What are we going to do with the cards? How do we figure out how to sell them online? Like that's a great way. Don't wait until you're at a certain level to do it. Do it as soon as you can, is what I would say.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you're interested, the QR code is up here. Also, you can talk to Stacy, who is somewhere here afterwards. Where's Stacy? Stacy's back there. You can talk to Stacy afterwards and she can sign you up. Again, it's free. There's no catch. So I know we're running tight on time. I do want to open the floor to questions for the panel. So if you have questions, I'll repeat it to the panel and we'll go from there. So right up front.
You were talking about negative feedback. You've gotten more, but it's been either removed or edited or something like that. How do you deal with someone who got a few negative feedbacks where they've had an issue, they have not contacted us at all, left a 1-star, I've responded, handled the issue for them to the best of my ability. Sometimes it was just a card I had mislisted and I was like, I'm so sorry, I refunded immediately the second I saw that negative review, and then messaged them and said, hey, so sorry, hopefully we've dealt with this for you, and just nothing. Escalate. And escalate that? Or they'll respond and say, well, I still had an issue. I can just escalate that. That's the response, is just, please take care of this. Just escalate everything.
If it even smells like it's going in that direction, you can escalate it.
Just click escalate. All
Taking care of it, TCG Player will back you up. I will tell you that firsthand.
Yeah.
I've escalated a few things and it's worked, but I didn't know if I got no response and there was nothing there.
Yeah. And if that doesn't work, you can just sell more cards and get your 5s,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it'll balance out.
That's been my strategy right
Yep,
now is
yep.
just keep getting the 5s and
No, escalate.
whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
people
at 99.9. Oh no.
people don't like escalating stuff, but absolutely escalate stuff.
So
They'll take care
what
of
he
it.
said is when you have a customer with a problem, you feel you solved it. They said, nah, no, you didn't, and it doesn't make sense anymore. 100% escalate to TCG player, and they will go, yeah, it doesn't make sense. And if you have a good track record of solving your customers' problems, they will absolutely back you up as a seller, because we agree on reality. Just because the customer is a failure to agree on reality doesn't mean that TCG player will recognize it and take the right action.
Beautiful. Right here.
A question I know you were asking about, or you were talking about buying up bulk a lot. Like, how do you guys handle bulk? Do you list everything, or do you do like packages to like kind of move it, or how do you guys handle that?
The question is, how do you handle bulk?
Well, Roca is a great solution for that, but not everybody can, or maybe may not be at that level. Yeah, there's other machines out there that you can lean on.
How do you sell it as? Is I think was his question. It's like, how do you sell it?
How do you like extract the value out of it,
Do
basically?
you like list it, or do you like package it and do bulk packs, or do you like how do you handle getting rid of bulk? Essentially?
No, yeah, I wish I knew. No, yeah, no. Don't sell it on Amazon. I'll tell you that much. I found out the hard way that don't do that. But no, it can be a process. Obviously, you want to extract as much value as possible. So yeah, if you don't want to invest in a Roca or something that can pick through value for you, yeah, it makes more sense to yeah, if you don't want to spend the time, yeah, you can bulk lot it out, or I know a lot of people do great just selling 800 card lots, 1,000 card lots on eBay. That's a good way to do it. Once we extract all the value, send stuff through the Roca, we have what we call the bulky bulk. And the bulky bulk goes into those types of lots. I do locally for like kids, and because Pokemon packs are so hard to find right now, I throw an ultra rare in there. They're guaranteed an ultra rare, you know, EX or V or whatever. 50 cards in a bag for $2, and parents buy them all day long. I can't keep them in stock, so that's a great solution as well.
Yeah, real briefly, when we buy bulk, we do have Rocas. Before that, we had people. You go through it, you take out the cards that you need or that sell well or that are worth more. The rest that don't fit into what you would want to sell as an individual single, we, like you said, make a bunch of repacks, or not repacks, but bulk lots. In-store, we make some instant collections, include some land, include some rares, some foils, sell them for a cheap price. And then the rest, sometimes we donate it, sometimes we sell it off as large bulk lots.
Yeah.
But it moves along pretty well.
They're not bulk lots, they're instant collections. That's a key phrasing for sure.
We have a lot of bulk because we're a limited store, and so like when we have a limited RCQ, limited players, they will pull out their couple rares and they will leave the whole stack on the table. So what we did as part of our way to amenitize the charging for space, we have bulk that's stored in those nice BCW pull-out trays, because we're WPN premium, so we can't do the cardboard. But if you play in a Magic event, you can go through that bulk. You can take whatever you want. It's a penny jar. You leave what you don't want. It's carried over now into One Piece and into Lorcana, and the players love it. And if you haven't run a kids commander event drop-off where they have to make commander decks out of the bulk and then play, you haven't lived, because it's hysterical. Everything has to come out of the bulk, and it's got to, yeah, it's great.
I love it. I love it. The second number?
Second code for you guys. Are you ready? It's a doozy too. 3. All right. Second code is 8169. 8169. 3 doesn't count. Just 8169. If I must you up from the headquarters.
All right, let's do one more question here over on the side here.
So, Nick, you buy everything
Oh.
that comes in the door, and I do too. So what do you do with the stuff that's just dirty and just, like there are the stuff that you list on, I don't list anything below 10 feet. Period.
Question was listing, do you have a minimum for what you list as far as quality? Yep.
So, like I said, I buy everything that walks in the door. If it's a damaged condition or heavily played or cruddy quality, we will still buy it. We just pay, in our minds, an appropriate amount less. And whether that matches up with what the customer wants in their mind as an appropriate amount, I hope it does, but sometimes it doesn't. But if I'm paying 10% of my normal buy price, not sell price, for something that's really trashed, and we're just going to sell it similarly discounted, it still works. It's just a cheaper card. Stuff that we feel is not safe to handle, if it's like super moldy or smoke damaged or stuff like that, we refuse. But as far as just poor condition, you just buy it at a price that makes sense to you.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, I know we are on a time crunch, so thank you all so much for attending. Give it up for the panelists. Mason, Barry, Nick,